And welcome to another episode of the DuPage Run and Shoot. As always, I'm your host, Patrick Cotto. Holy shit, week 4 of the high school football season is already here. But first, we got to recap week 3. I got my awesome co-host with me, Matt Lauterbach, on the show. Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing good, but I mean, why do we have a dry heat in middle to end of September right now? It's just so unnecessarily hot.
Yeah, it's like hell's front porch has hit another level.
Yeah, it has, but thank God it's supposed to rain tonight. I'm actually kind of looking forward to that.
Calling for rain tonight? Well, good thing it's calling for it tonight and not tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good thing it's not tomorrow because we got some football action to cover.
Yeah, no, we don't want to get rained on while there's football.
No. No,
Other
we
times,
don't.
yeah, no. Go ahead. Other times, but yes,
Yeah.
not on us tomorrow, please. Not on us tomorrow.
Yep. We don't
We
need
have
we don't
some.
need rain tomorrow night.
Yeah, we don't, not during the games, which it will not happen.
Yep.
Anyway,
Yep.
Matt, let's go on to our week 3 recaps before we go on to week 4. First one, Naperville Central improves to 3-0 after a 31-14 win over Andrew High School. Aiden Clark continuing his things, rushing for over 100 yards, 3 touchdowns. Sebastian Hayes, a touchdown to Deshaun Williams. No surprise. This ballgame would have been a lot closer if Andrew threw in the first half. This option game clearly failed miserably. Once they started passing the ball, it set up a running game, and they got a couple touchdowns late in the game. Whole new ballgame if they threw more in the first half.
And that's what happens when you get behind on poor offensive play calling with Andrew. I mean, you get stuck behind and you're down in a hole already, and it's tough to get back up. And I mean, it's just like why didn't they do this sooner? Like, why was
And you
this
saw what
not?
happened early in the game. They coughed it up on the opening drive, and Central took well advantage of it by scoring a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot give this Naperville Central defense that many chances. You just can't because they are a team that they are a defense that always flows towards the football, and they always find a way to, and they always find a way to either intercept it or knock it out of the player's hands. That's what they do.
They're going to fly around and hit you.
Yep. On Friday night they hit Andrew right in the mouth. So
They
they
hit
came
them
out
right.
swinging.
They hit them right in the mouth big time. But again, if Andrew threw the ball in the first half, closer game. So they definitely had an interesting game plan.
Yeah, it
Like
was an
the option game
interest.
was not working at all.
If they decided to throw it sooner, you can only imagine how much closer the score probably could have been
Yep.
if they had just decided to throw it.
But
but
instead,
never know.
Naperville Central makes the stops they need, improved to 3-0 after the 31-14 win as they host Stag tomorrow night. Next game. Oh boy, Naperville North with a much needed 21-20 win over Lincoln Way Central. Dude, that
Yeah,
overtime was crazy.
that overtime was crazy. And if this game has shown me anything, this kind of shows to me that Jacob Bell is. I know he's going to Ball State next year. I know he's committed to there, but it'd be interesting to see if he keeps this up down the stretch the remainder of the season. I mean, what we're tomorrow's going to be 4 weeks in, so we're already closing on halfway already, which is insane. But if he keeps
Well,
playing,
they have a big test tomorrow night, as you know.
yeah, against Lincoln Way East, which is they're just a juggernaut. But I mean, Jacob Bell, from what I've seen from him so
Holy
far,
shit.
he can sling the football and he does a good job with it. I remember our fellow reporter Jake, him and I were working right next to each other editing our football games. He had the North game last Friday and he was just like going on about like everything that was happening. I was just like, wow. But I do want to say though, this game should have not gone to overtime. There was a very questionable play I saw with North's offense deep towards their own end zone, and you could clearly tell the running back was tackled in the end zone, and it should have been a safety. But refs, for some reason, ruled it in favor of forward progress. I don't remember if that was in the highlight or not, but Jake showed it to me. And there's clearly, in my opinion, it was a clear play where it was a safety. So,
Well, this game, Matt, had a couple game changes in that. Zach
yeah,
Malley had the blocked field goal in the
yes,
first half. If Lincoln Way Central makes that, that game
yeah,
doesn't overtime. And
no.
then Lincoln Way Central scores first in the overtime, and the Husky special teams blocks the extra point. So all North had to do was kick the extra point to win the game. That's what they did. So few key plays
There
helped
were
that win.
there were a few key plays. There were definitely a few key plays. I mean, if any of those plays goes in favor of Lincoln Way Central, then
Let's
we're
say
talking about
if one of those plays goes in their favor, if one of those
yeah,
plays goes well, 2 out of 3. Let's say 2 out of 3 because
yeah,
North would have kicked if the extra point wasn't blocked in the overtime, there would have been a double overtime.
yeah.
But yeah, if they make the field goal, they win. If they get the safety, they win. Whole new ball game if one of those two plays happens.
Yeah, it would be a whole different ball game if one of those two things happen. One of those three things actually happened. I mean, the
And North's
first half,
game-winning touchdown was from 4th and goal from like what the 16.
yeah, because they sacked Jacob Bell the play prior, and the Knights fans and the attendants were just they were they were cheering. They were like, "Yeah, this is our game here. We just sacked the quarterback, forcing it fourth and very long. They're never going to do this." And what does
Shades
Jacob
of the
Bell do? Oh, he
Alabama
throws a
Georgia
dime,
National Championship
and
in
he's got him.
2018.
Yeah, I know what you're talking. I know exactly what you're
Where they
talking
sacked
about.
Tua
The Tua
Tagovailoa for a
game.
big loss, and he throws the game-winning touchdown to Devontae Smith on 2nd and 20. Same thing for North. Jacob Bell
Oh
rolls
yeah,
out, perfect pass to
yep,
Quinn Morris. Beautiful.
yeah, yeah. This game has shown me that Jacob Bell is ready. And I know he's already committed to Ball State, but I would like to see other schools, other scouts from bigger schools notice him and give him some more offers because I've been impressed.
I have
And
two.
even in the crosstown game against Central, he wasn't the reason why they lost. He was far from the
Nope.
reason why they lost. I mean, North's defense just kind of folded in. The offensive line couldn't protect him as well. And I mean, he got them within striking distance. He just didn't have enough. It just wasn't enough for them. But I've been very
Exactly.
impressed with Jacob Bell so far this year. And I'm really excited to see what the future holds for him and how he does the rest of the year.
Well, Matt, I feel like there will definitely be a lot of college scouts tomorrow night at the Lincoln Way East Naperville North game for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're already talking about a juggernaut of a Illinois high school team in Lincoln Way East, but then you have Naperville North, who's been very stout on offense for the most part this year. They're gonna be you already expect a lot of scouts out there, and you know what Jacob Bell decides to do. I don't know how. I mean, I know he's committed. I don't know. He seems
He
willing,
he
and
it could change down the road
it
depending
could
on what he
change
does.
down the road. You never know. It could very well change down the road, but I would at least like to see this kid get some bigger offers. You
Oh,
never know.
100%. Next game. Bonzi Valley suffers its first loss of the season, losing 20-17 to Bradley Bourbonnais.
Yeah,
Obviously, nobody likes to lose, but a good lesson learned for the Warriors.
it was a good lesson. I They took it toe to toe. The thing that sort of puzzles me, or not puzzles me, but scares me a little bit for Wabanzi is their offense. I mean, their lone offensive touchdown drive was off a turnover, I believe. And I think they had
Yes.
some decent field position off of that. Their other
Christian
touchdown,
Simmons with the touchdown. The other touchdown was a block kick for a touchdown.
yeah. I mean, I like their defense and I like what their special teams has done. And obviously, their offense had a good game against Plainfield East last couple weeks ago, but that's Plainfield East. I mean, Plainfield East. I mean, I'm a Plainfield North alumni. We can just talk about the number of tough games I've been to where, we've proved who's the superior Tiger school. So, uh, I mean, Wabanzi's, I like what they've done on defense. I like what they've done on special teams. On offense, I need to see a little bit more, but
Their offense
I,
is a question mark against the good teams. In case you
yes,
haven't
yes,
known.
yeah,
Ever since Paul Murphy left the Warriors, that
yeah.
whole offense has just been a complete question mark. Well, at least when it plays the good teams.
They're like the
Crappy
Dolphins
team.
when
Yeah, crap. Thank you. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, they're like the Miami Dolphins whenever, I mean, if the Dolphins were to play the Buffalo Bills 17 times a season, they go 0 and 17, or at least with a losing record. I mean,
It
nothing
or if
against.
they kept playing the Broncos 17 times this season.
Oh my God, yeah, and yeah, like different side of the coin there too. I mean, it's just well, Bonzi, I can't, they kept it close. I
They're a
can't take
good
anything
team.
away. They're a good team. They're getting better, especially with what their new coach is doing so far. He's gotten them playing with a lot of fire, but
They just need
um,
to fix the offense a little bit. And it's not a bad offense.
no, it's
I
not.
like this
But
offense.
it's not. But against good teams, they need to be more ready.
Exactly. And they have another good team coming to town tomorrow, which we will touch on shortly. But let's go over to
Mhm.
their Eola Road rival. Mattia Valley crashing back down to earth with a 40-7 loss to Lincoln Way West. Matt, it was a complete disaster from the start. Mattia Valley muffs a punt, lets a punt slide for a safety, and then Lincoln Way West returns it back for a touchdown. That was pretty much the beginning of the end.
Mm. Yeah, it was essentially the beginning of the end for the Mustangs. I mean, they came off the highs of the highs last week. They finally got a win. They came in and were just feeling themselves a little bit too much, I'm afraid. And then reality struck them on the opening kickoff there. That's
On the
shades of
after on that
uh
ensuing kickoff after the safety.
or the ensuing kickoff after the safety. I mean, uh they yeah, it was not good at all for Mattia Valley from right from the get-go. That's shades of Peyton Manning against the Seahawks in the Super Bowl years ago.
I forgot about that game.
Uh, I mean, unless you're in the vicinity of Denver or Seattle, I mean, it's pretty forgettable.
Exactly. But yes, no, Mattia, let's be real, Matt. They were definitely happy with that win against Plainfield Central. Sure, they would like a better offensive performance against Lincoln Way West, but
Yeah,
progress is being made for the Mustangs.
it is. There's some progress. I mean, like we said, you can't get much lower than how they were last year, and they've already surpassed expectations. So, you just keep little by little going up.
Right.
They have a decent future ahead of them. I mean, I like their sophomore and JV team. So maybe they get some
Yep.
more of those guys ready for the
And they
varsity
had some
level.
good drives going last week. They just either ended in a turnover or no
Yeah,
points.
yeah. I mean, the future is bright for the Mustangs. They're going in the right direction. They're not going to be a playoff team this year, but
No.
next couple years, I can see them making it back to the promised land.
Let's hope so.
Yep.
Next one, Bennett Academy. 42-0 over De La Salle.
Yeah.
Mark Radgowski. I mean, he clearly watched our first episode because that running game's just been explosive ever since.
Yeah. Uh, I mean, they clearly took the notes from our first episode of the season, and I mean, the running game was great. I will say though, De La Salle's by no means anything to write home about, but 42-0 is pretty.
Bennett for sure has a better test tomorrow night against St. Viator.
Yeah, for sure. I still give Bennett the edge over St. Viator,
Yep.
especially playing at home.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I like what this offense has done, and I'll be working that game tomorrow night. So
Oh,
any of you
yes.
any of you Red Wing fans out there who watch the show and you see me with a camera and tripod recording the game from up top, you'll know who I am.
Exactly. But yes, no, Bennett's 3-0. Another team that's 3-0. York, 54-21 over Downers Grove South.
Yeah.
I mean, not really much of a surprise. York is just that good.
No.
5 total
Yeah.
touchdowns for Bruno Massel.
Yeah.
Henry Duda had 235 rushing yards. Mustangs got up to, I mean, York got up to a good start. Mustangs made 28-14, but yeah, York just had a response of every Mustang possession.
Yeah, that's nothing to take away against Downers Grove South. I mean, they played a decent game. It wasn't like they got completely
They could
wiped
have
on the
easily
floor.
gotten wiped down 28-0, and then they scored the 14 straight to make it a game, but nope, York
Yeah,
just had an answer.
and that's nothing to take away from them because York is such a good team. So, you can't take anything away from them for that. Not at all.
I feel like conferences like, the West Suburban Conference, the West Suburban Silver specifically, along
Yeah.
with this, the DVC Southwest Suburban Conference coming together, and of course the Duquesne Conference are 3 tough conferences.
Yeah. It's
Besides the Catholic leagues, we know the Catholic leagues are good, but don't sleep on these 3 conferences.
no, no, you cannot sleep on these conferences at all. I mean, we already see a lot of powerhouse teams going up against each other in those conferences to begin with. So it's you can't bet any money against them.
Speaking of powerhouse, Downers Grove North really loves the number 42 because they drop another 40 burger again, beating Glenbard West 42-7. Downers Grove North has outscored their opponents so far in the first 3 games 126-7.
Uh, the Trojans are, yeah. I mean, anytime you get to 42 points, anytime they get to 42 points, you can easily expect the defense to give up less than 10 because that's what they've done all year so far. And
Exactly.
this Trojan team, they are something really interesting right here. I'm excited to see what quarterback Owen Lansu does. I mean, he's making a lot of magic right now.
He's verbally committed to Minnesota.
Well, Minnesota's got themselves a good one. They got
Sir.
themselves a dog.
Yep. Next one, Lions Township, a close 21-16 win over Hinsdale Central. We had a feeling this game was going to be close.
We had a feeling it would be close, but I think we predicted Hinsdale Central, so we were wrong on that one.
No, we took Lions Township.
Oh, we did? Okay. I
We
wasn't sure if
took
we okay. I can't remember because so much has happened in a week's time. But
them.
yeah, I mean, the Red Devils out there, it's nothing to take away from them. They played a hard-fought game, just came up a little bit short against a nearby rival.
Yeah, the first touchdown of the game for the Lions actually came off of a blocked kick. Mac Long scooped it up for the touchdown after Pat Shenny blocked it. Red Devils responded with the touchdown, but the Lions, scored to start the second half. The Red Devils were in that game. I mean, that's the kind of game we expected between both teams. They were in it.
Yeah, I mean, Hinsdale Central's they're going to give you a fight unless it's against Naperville Central, which we don't know how that goes. But yeah, I mean, the Red Devils, I think they'll be fine going forward. I mean, they've played close. They've played good football ever since the week 1 shellacking. So I'm sure this is just a little hiccup in the road for them, but they'll be back.
Yeah, they'll definitely be back for sure. And Hinsdale Central's schedule is pretty favorable coming up, if you ask me, because they go to Morton. They host Morton, so that's a pretty winnable game.
Yeah.
So a chance for them to, go to 2-2 next week would be huge if they get it.
Yep.
Obviously, time ran out on them in this game, but that's good. That's what happens when you let
Yeah,
the good team smack you.
that's exactly how it goes sometimes. Can't take anything away from it,
Yep.
but came up close.
Hinsdale South is 2-1 after 38-0 win over Leiden.
That's them Hornets are making themselves the case to be the better Hinsdale team.
We'll see. It's early. It's early in the season. We'll see how that goes.
I like what they've done on offense so far, though, for the
Yep.
most part. They've had a good offense.
Oh yes. Next game, an eye opener. Willowbrook picks up their first win of the year, beating Addison Trail 39-28.
I think this was a game we took Addison Trail in
We
39.
did. We did. We
Yeah.
we bet we bet against Willowbrook, and they're making us
Yeah,
right now.
we got the upset alert. We got the script flipped onto both of us here with this one. So uh hey, kudos to Willowbrook. Apparently you guys watched the show enough and that motivated us into motivated you guys into making us eat shit tonight. So
But it's funny though. Addison Trail struck first with the Nico Dill 80-yard touchdown pass to Raja Korn. Then a guy named Aiden Cool goes off for 131 yards and 4 touchdowns.
you wouldn't really expect. I honestly like once a team starts off with like an 80-yard touchdown, that's kind of like, oh, it's gonna be one of those kind of games. It's gonna be one of those type of nights. But hey, I mean Willowbrook, they weren't deterred by that. You could have
Nope.
easily gotten your head in the sand as soon as that 80-yard touchdown happened and just could have gave up and died. But hey, kudos to
Blazers
them
were
winning.
eaten alive by 2 killer turnovers in that game.
Yeah.
And they were hanging around, but
Mm. It just wasn't enough. Nope. Can't turn the ball over.
next game, another big eye opener. St. Francis 35, Loyola 21. All right, let me just say this right here. This was Loyola's first ever home game under the lights on a Friday night. Because they always play on Saturdays.
I actually did not know that.
Yeah,
I
I didn't know
actually did
that
not.
too until one of the players' moms works at my gym. So I went up there and said like, "Hey, nice win for
Oh.
St. Francis," and she told me that this was Loyola's first game with lights under the lights on a Friday night. And I'm like, wow, good
Oh,
spoiler by St. Francis.
I don't know what's going on with this Loyola team right now. I really
Well,
don't
they were
know what's
missing
going on.
Ryan Fitzgerald at quarterback after he got hurt last week against Glenbard West, but still, you figured next man up mentality with how good that team is, but it's not showing.
No, it's not. This has been a very surprisingly sluggish start for Loyola. I mean, St. Francis is good. I'm not taking anything away from
Oh
them,
yeah,
but Loyola we thought would be a juggernaut coming into this year.
and and St. Francis was up 21-0.
Yeah.
Loyola made it 21-14, but St. Francis has had a response. Brady
Yeah.
Palmer threw a couple touchdowns, ran one in for the dagger. The final
Yeah.
drive where St. Francis scored, they got, Loyola got hit with 2 face mask penalties that helped out St. Francis.
Mm,
Oh boy, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, what a kind of a
Yeah. Not
shocker. I
good for
mean, good
Loyola at
good for
all.
St. Francis, but not good for
Yeah.
Loyola.
No, not at all. So they really need to chalk something up for their game tomorrow, whoever they play, but
Yep, back to
they
the
really need
drawing
to chalk
board.
something up. Yep, exactly. That's what we always say.
Next game. This is one where we got wrong badly last week. Maris 21, Montini 6.
Oh, ah, Marist is Marist is another team flipping the script a little bit this year.
Yeah, they had a rough year last year. A lot of people are saying last season was a fluke. I call bullshit. There's no such thing as a fluke. You just played good teams last year. But if you want to prove yourselves this year, do it. And that's what they did. They're so
Yeah.
far off to a 3-0 start. They've beaten teams like Morgan Park, who's nothing to sleep on, Brother Rice, and Montini. So 3 damn good teams they beat.
Yeah. Pretty yeah. Can't can't take anything away from those teams and what Marist is doing right now. I mean, they're ready to go for it and they're up there in rankings right now. So cannot take anything away from Marist at all.
Not at all. Next one, Wheaton Academy jumped over the 500 mark with a 27-7 win over Chicago Christian. Good win for the Warriors.
Finally, a game where it kind of felt like it's back on script, back on par with narratives.
Exactly, because they had to grind out a couple. They were in a grind these last two games against Second Baptist and St. Charles East. London LaFleur scored a couple touchdowns for the Warriors. Jeremy Johannick had 12 tackles in the game and an interception. So,
Yeah, hey, gotta love it.
yep. Next one. We also screwed this pick up badly last week. St. Ignatius, 32, IC 14.
This one kind of stings a little bit just
The
because
Knights were hanging in this game. They were down 18-14 after 3, and then the Wolfpack scored the last 13 to seal the deal.
wow, that's they were right there. Why? How did they let them off the hook? Like they
I know.
had
Well,
them.
St. Ignatius is a good team too, so you don't want to sleep on these. Anytime the Catholic schools go off, it's going to be a dogfight.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it was a dogfight there. So,
Yep.
just the team, not the team we thought was going to win it.
Right. Next one. This was a good one. Geneva, 45. Wheaton South, 31. Okay, clearly defense was optional in this game.
Yeah, defense was very much so optional in this game. And hey, Geneva, the Vikings, they look pretty good out there. They look pretty
Michael
solid.
Romaro with 200 total yards. He had 117 receiving. Anthony Chihino with 309 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. He's thrown 4 touchdowns in the first 3 games so far.
Man's looking pretty impressive out there.
This Geneva team. That I don't know, but this Geneva team's looking pretty impressive.
He's making a case for himself. Any area scouts from colleges or big name colleges in the area. I mean,
the Vikings in 3 games so far, 149 to their opponents 38.
That's a pretty good. That's a pretty close scoring differential to what Downers Grove South.
Yeah.
Downers
Well,
Grove North
obviously,
has,
Wheaton South put up 31 last week against Geneva. And we knew Wheaton South was going to put up some points this year. There's no doubt about it. With how good this team is, it's that Geneva was able to put up a little more in that game. And the Tigers, they were in it. They scored a couple touchdowns in the second half, but Geneva just got for that fast start and took the dub.
Yeah. I mean, they ran away and hid with it. That's how you win football games. Start off strong early and just give yourself the gap so they don't catch up.
Yep. Next one, and this is actually a game we both got wrong, Matt. St. Charles North, 31. Wheaton North, 14. You thought you picked St. Charles North. No, you actually picked Wheaton North. I was looking back at the video from last week.
Yeah.
Well, we're both eating shit for this one.
We're both eating shit for this one. Wheaton North.
St. Charles North, though, is another team you don't want to mess with.
No, it's not. But I mean, Wayne North, hate to say it, but I mean, your 2 wins this year kind of look a little bit fluky after last.
I wouldn't say fluky, man. This is just a good wake up call for the Falcons.
It's just a wake up call. I mean, you're fortunate to be where you're at. I was covering the Lockport Nequa game last Friday, and there were a lot of Porter's players that I talked to after the game that took that Falcon that lost the Falcons pretty personally. So that I kind of gave them a bit of glimmer because I said after the game after they crushed Nequa, they said, "Oh, we in North lost, so if that makes you feel any better," and they were all cheering.
How about that? Well, St. Charles North, they took it to them. They took a 21-14 lead. Falcons made it 28-14, but St. Charles North unloaded a heavy dose of the run game to kill that clock.
Yeah, that's how you do it right there. You just kill it with the ground and pound game. You're already up. Why stop?
Yes, exactly. Run the damn balls, they always say.
Run the damn football.
Yeah, and Ethan Plum, he's a name to watch for.
Yeah.
For the North Stars.
Mm.
Next game. St. Charles East, 40. Glenbard North, 7. As Ron Burgundy. So this game snapped an 8-game slide for the Saints. It was close at first, tied at 7, and then as Ron Burgundy says, man, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah,
Xander Salazar with 118 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns.
again, that's how you do it right there. You get it out of hand pretty quickly right there. The run game's a prime example of it. And the Saints were ready to roll on this one. It was clear with how the offense was looking.
They're no team to sleep on, dude. They're really not a team to sleep on. I mean, you
No.
look at their schedule right now. I mean, sure they're 1-2, but let's look at their first 2 games. They lost to Lincoln Way Central, 56-40.
Yeah, that was
They
not
lost,
bad.
but 40 points.
They put
They
up.
lost. That's not
They
bad.
made it competitive.
You hung with Wheaton Academy, losing by 11, and now you finally get over the hump with the win against Glenbard North. That's a
Well, this
huge
is a
win
team.
for the Saints.
This is a team that's ready to take that next step. They've come up short a couple times, but this I think is going to be a big boost of energy and momentum for them.
You're also playing in the really tough Duquesne Conference.
Oh, yeah, Duquesne Conference. God, that is such a buzzsaw of a conference to be in if you're like and unfortunately in St. Charles' case, that's probably like a bottom feeder in that conference. But you take on some other teams outside of that, you can kind of just see there are no slouches.
Nope. Well, speaking of bottom feeder, another team played like a bottom feeder team. Lake Park gets 50-pieced by Batavia, 56-6.
Ah,
Oh boy.
we rode with the Lancers, but this time we didn't last
We
week,
did
and
not.
we
I
did not.
told you I told you Batavia
Yeah,
was what
I'm
I knew.
happy.
But I told you, but I'm glad we picked Batavia.
I'm happy I jumped off the Lance because if I stayed on and ignored you, I would have gotten shredded by the Bulldog. So,
Well,
um,
I'm getting shredded in the next in coming up shortly. But first, yeah. But first, to another team with a big win. Glenbard East 47, Bartlett 14. So the Rams took a note from that West Aurora loss and said, "All right, guys, new game. Let's fuck some shit up." And they did in a big way.
well,
They were
they
rolling
fucked a
with
lot of it up.
They were rolling with this game, up 26-0 at the half, scored 21 more points in the third quarter, and just kept grinding.
It's how you do it. It's how you do
Yep.
it. Keep churning out those points.
Next one. Oh God, this is one we both split with last week. A team that majorly crashed down to earth last week. Glenbard South beats West Chicago 63-8. God almighty. Yeah.
I tried to warn you. I tried to warn you. I tried to tell you. And this is your comeuppance right here.
Well, we've all made some shit picks and stuff.
We
And
have
yeah,
we have all made some shit picks, but for once it feels so great to not be on the receiving end of it.
yeah. Okay. Hopefully, West Chicago can learn from this game and just move on.
This is kind of surprising for them, and I take nothing. I don't take any joy from this happening unless it's just to see Pat kind of suffer live on air. But I mean, I don't know what happened to West Chicago. I mean, you guys were the first team to really reach out to me and say something to me when Pat mentioned on his Twitter page that I was hopping on the show. What happened to you guys out there? Why do you do this?
Why do you got to hurt Matt like that?
Why do you? I mean, I'm not entirely hurt, but it's like, why did you have to do that?
Exactly. But you know what? There's another game.
There's always another game.
Put this one behind you and just focus on your next opponent. But good for Glenbard South. Puts them at 2-1 on the year, and hopefully that builds their confidence.
Yeah, hopefully.
Next game, Fenton 54, Elmwood Park 36. Fenton is 3-0 for the first time since 2014.
Hmm. Fenton's looking pretty scary, I would say.
Well, we'll see what they do against some other opponents because they got a good one coming up. Lyle High School continues their struggles, losing to Wilmington 56-7. Not much of a surprise.
56-7. Yeah, I go out to Wilmington quite a lot. I have family that lives out there. That high school's like that town's a big high school football town.
Oh yeah, no, I could tell, and I think they do. If I'm correct, I think they do motorcycle intros for their players.
Yeah. I mean, you that's south. Like that's very.
I
It's
love how
like
school. I love how schools in Central and Southern Illinois really go all in for high school football. Like the town shut down for
oh
football
yeah.
games. Even the small schools up north.
Oh yeah, I mean I've been to Wilmington so many times because I my brother and his family live out there. So I mean I've that town that's a small town right there, but they're very tight knit.
You love to see it though.
You love to see it. Like I said, yeah, you love to see it happen.
Yep. Next one. Actually, that'll do it for our recaps. Now let's go on to our IHSA games of the week. A pick we safely got right. Libertyville 43, Stevenson 14. 5 touchdown game for Quinn Shambo, 380 on 383 yards. Two of them to Blaze La Vista.
Hmm, not bad. Go in Libertyville.
Yep. This game defense was also optional. Peoria 58, Morris 52.
Wow. 58-52. That's not your average football score right there.
Nope. Well, Peoria loves to light it up, so.
Clearly
But their
they
defense was clearly a no-show.
uh yeah, that's the thing I got to be worried
Well,
about.
well, both defenses were a no-show.
Both defenses were no show, but it just came down to who's going to have the better offense. And in this
Exactly.
case, it was Peoria.
Yep. Next one. St. Viator 34, Marmion 7.
Ah, God. St. Viator. Um, it's good win for them. Pretty convincing, but you got a big test coming up this week against Bennett.
Exactly. Yeah, that game will not be easy, but
No.
good win for the Lions. Now, let's go on to our DuPage run and shoot games of the week this week, week 4. A very quiet week in the West Suburban Conference, but a few good games. But first, we'll start off with Stag taking on Naperville Central. Stag is 2-1, coming off a 49-3 loss to Lincoln Way East. I have Naperville Central's name all over this one.
Yeah, so do I. I got Naperville's at home. Again, it's at home, so
Yeah,
I'm fully riding with the Red Hawks here.
so am I. Next one. This is the big one. Really the big one, and one of the biggest, if not one of the biggest games in the state tomorrow night. One of them, because there's a lot more. This is definitely a big one that you don't want to miss. Lincoln Way East versus Naperville North.
Huh. This is a massive test for Jacob Bell against one of the best teams in the not just in the area, but in the entire state.
Oh yeah,
Um,
no, this is
um, I think their North is going to get some of the offense going, but in the end, I'm going to ride with the juggernaut team. I'm going to go with Lincoln Way East.
I'm going to take the Griffins as well. It'll be a good learning curve for Naperville North, knowing that you're going to see some good teams down the road.
Yes, it's going to be a good learning curve for them, but if they make this close or if they shock us and win, I would welcome it.
I'll welcome it too. It
Mhm.
will be close, but I think Lincoln Way East will
Yeah.
get hot late and pull away.
This is very reminiscent of like the Bengals as underdogs in Joe Burrow's first full-time season taking on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Right. Even
Very
though
rem
exactly, but yeah, Lincoln Way East, I think they'll steal it.
So do I.
Next one. Lockport takes on Waubonsie Valley. Oh boy.
Oh,
This is a tough one.
this is a tough one. Are they at Waubonsie or is it
Games
at
at Waubonsie.
Okay. Well, ah, God, this is gonna be difficult because I was at the Lockport Nequa game. I was there, and
Well, yeah, you saw how impressive
that
Lockport
Porter.
looked.
Well, I saw how impressive their run game was. Their running back Tyler Pospisil, he was
A tank.
bulldozing guys. He's a tank, and he was just you look up the highlight for that on NCTV 17.
Oh, he
That's the
was
game I did.
bulldozing the fuck out
He
of
was
everybody.
just yeah, he just lowered his shoulder and boom, down a player went bam, someone went over. But yeah, he was just knocking players over left and right. He's a cool dude. I interviewed him after the game, very laid back, very chill, humble dude. But this is gonna be a good one here. This is a good test for Wabanzi too, I would say.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm gonna
uh,
give the slight edge to Lockport, but if Wabanzi
yeah.
wins, of course I'll welcome it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. My score prediction is gonna be 23-21 Porters.
You really love making these close predictions.
I mean, I'm seeing two very even level teams right here. So
They are
I
very
I
even. They
think
are very even level teams, but
Wabanzi is gonna be a challenge, much more of a challenge than Niqua is for Lockport.
oh yeah. But yeah, no. But again, if Wabanzi wins, I'll welcome it.
Hmm.
Next one, St. Viator versus Bennett.
The battle of 3-0 teams right here.
I think Bennett, with how strong Bennett's offense has been, I mean, sure, this team's a little better than Moline, Hillcrest, and De La Salle, but if Bennett could just keep their confidence going, I don't
Yeah.
see why they can't win it.
I agree, and especially back at home at Benedictine tomorrow night. I think this is going to be a closer game. I think this is going to be who has the better offense,
It will be
but
decided by one possession for sure.
I think so. I'm going to go Bennett with a 34-28 margin.
Lots of offense in this game. Okay, I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's going to be an offensive shootout.
Well, speaking of offensive shootout, this next game could be an offensive shootout. Hinsdale South versus Addison Trail.
Hinsdale South. Sorry. Hinsdale South. Sorry. I
All
thought you
good.
said Hinsdale Central,
All
but
good.
Hinsdale South. Oh, I want to go Hornets on this one.
I think that's the safe bet as well for this one. It
Yeah.
really depends on what kind of Addison Trail team you're going to get.
Yeah, I mean, are you going to get the one that looked really good to start the season off, or are you going to look the one that ended a bit sluggish last week against Willowbrook?
Yeah.
That's to be determined.
And Hinsdale South did beat Addison Trail last year, 24-0. So I'm gonna ride with the Hornets.
Yeah,
And if the Blazers win, we'll eat shit.
I'm going to go with the Hornets 28-24 in this one.
Good pick. Yeah, the Blazers will definitely get their offense going because the Hornets won last year 24-0.
Yeah, yeah, they'll definitely get it. They'll blaze through a little bit this time. No pun intended.
Next one. Next one. Fenton versus Glenbard South. Does Fenton go to 4-0 or does Glenbard South get the upset?
I'm going to go Fenton on this one. I say they go for it.
Ooh, okay. I like that pick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take Fenton as well. Want to be the best, beat the best.
Exactly. That's how you do it. But I'm
Yep.
going to go with Fenton.
Good pick. Good pick. Next one, West Chicago will take on Ridgewood. I say West Chicago learns from. I would say Chicago learns from that loss in a big way and gets back on track with the win over Ridgewood.
I would like to see it too. Hopefully they're able to do that. I think the keys are there for them to ride off to a W.
Exactly. Next one, Geneva versus Lake Park. I got to go with the Vikings again. I'm sorry.
Uh yeah, I think Lake Park, I'm sorry, but last week's game did not do much confidence in building for you guys
No.
on my end. So I'm
Hopefully you have a better
start off the
offensive.
year.
Hopefully you have a better offensive performance, but I'm taking the Vikings in this one.
I'm gonna go with Geneva too, just because that offense they've been high
Yep.
powered all year.
Next game, St. Rita versus St. Francis. Give me St. Francis. They just picked up a big win against Loyola, and they're going to keep chugging along.
Hey, top 10 ranked school right there. Give me the Spartans.
Yep. Last one, Montini versus Fenwick.
Oh man, I just have a lot of personal joy in seeing Fenwick lose, especially after how they went at that playoff game years ago.
Cover your ears, Fenwick fans. Matt is a Plainfield North alum, and he was in high school when that game happened.
I was not at the game, but I saw the replay after that, and yeah, we stole it from you. But what made me feel more joyous, more than beating you guys, was to hear the reactions from your school after we beat you in overtime. You couldn't stop us then, so I want to go Montini, but you know what? I know you're not going to welcome me on your ship, but I think I may go Fenwick on this one. You're not.
I'm gonna take Montini this one. They get back on track.
What's Fenwick's what is Fenwick's record again?
Fenwick is 2-1. The battle of 2-1s coming up.
Oh, I think that's going to be a close one. I know you're not going to welcome me on your ship, but you know what? I I will be I will I will go with you guys, and if you lose, I will be insufferable if you guys lose, and you'll still have to deal with me on your ship. So, yeah.
That'll do it for our DuPage games of the week. Now let's go on to our IHSA games of the week. And I'd be a complete fool not taking this one. Batavia versus St. Charles North.
This is conference right here too, I believe, isn't it?
Yep. I'm taking the
This is
Bulldogs in
conference.
this one. I'm taking
I'm
the
going the
Bulldogs.
I'm
They
going the
definitely
Bulldogs.
they definitely show that, yeah, who cares if we lost all these players from last year? We got guys that can step up, and they have done
Yeah.
in a big way so far.
They got a lot of depth to their team. I'm going Batavia on this one. I'm going to say 40-24 score prediction.
Ooh, yeah, no, definitely a lot of high scoring. Next one, Quincy versus Moline.
Oof. Oh man. Ah, Pat, I'm going to let you start on this one.
Their offense is just
Yeah.
explosive. I mean, their quarterback, Braden Little, this kid is, whew, oh man, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. But this
Yeah.
kid's already at 1,000 yards passing
Already at 1,000 yards passing.
after 3
Oh,
weeks, which makes a lot of sense because they beat Quincy Notre Dame 40-12. Little
yeah.
threw for 368 yards in that game, a 42-13 win over Alton. They beat
Mm,
Rock Island 48-7. I mean, oh boy, this is a scary Blue Devils team that loves their offense.
yeah. Yeah. I think I'm going to ride with the Blue Devils on
I
this
think
one.
I'm going to ride with the Blue Devils as well. And this, oh my God, oh boy, yeah, the Blue Devils. It's going to be a close game, or it's going to be close in the first half, but I think
Yeah.
Quincy really rolls over Moline. Do not sleep on Quincy High School this year.
No, no, don't sleep on them at all. This is going to be a
Yep.
true battle of the
Yep.
offenses, I think.
Next one, Quincy Notre Dame versus Sacred Heart Griffin.
Mm, another Quincy school.
Yep, Quincy Notre Dame.
Ah, oh man, a Notre Dame team. I kind of cringe about that just every time I think of the Fighting Irish. I mean, this one doesn't seem like too insufferable though.
I'm going to take Sacred Heart Griffin in this one.
Yeah, I had to. I mean, it does me a lot of joy betting against the Notre Dame team, so I'm gonna bet against this one.
I love that. And now, Matt, let's wrap up with our team of the week. My team of the week is Hinsdale South.
All right, all right. I respect that. That's a good one. Um, you know what? Just because they showed a lot of progress, a lot of potential last week. I know it was a close one, but hey, they still got the job done. I'm gonna go Naperville North as my team of the week.
Okay, I like that. I like that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but good picks. Two teams off to good starts. Two teams that love their offense. And we look forward to seeing what they do for the rest of the season.
Hey, gotta love it. Gotta
Yep.
be hopeful for what they
Yep.
do.
And that wraps up the show. Matt, as always, thank you for coming on to the DuPage Run and Shoot. I can't believe it's week 4.
Ah, man, this whole football season's just flying. It's 9 weeks. I think after this week, we're gonna be at like almost at the halfway point. So,
Yep.
man. But hey, I mean, the way I see it, we get
Well,
through
we're on
football and
here. We're on here, Matt, till Thanksgiving. So
we're on here till Thanksgiving, so we still got 2 more months of action left because that's when state finals are.
Yep. Everybody, be sure to follow us on our Facebook, Twitters, and Instagram. That's where you can find all of us. And yeah, we're always happy to bring you some exciting high school football news around the DuPage County area.
That's what we do. We're sports reporters. What we do.
Exactly. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in to another episode of the DuPage Run and Shoot. We will see you next time.